You gonna watch us do their show tonight? I don't know. Sometimes it's not always kid friendly.
Welcome to A Comic Book Look, your weekly comic book show. We talk about comic books and anything related to comics. You want it, you got it. My name's John, a.k.a. Mr. Freeze. We're finally getting out here. And then we got Tom over here, a.k.a. Frosty. Because he went sledding today with his daughter, which is awesome. So, keeping it Midwestern winter out here. Surviving the elements.
Yep,
that's
finally.
what we do.
You know, I hear Seattle has the worst, though, so whatever.
Yeah, that news is crazy. One place is on fire, one's flooding.
The world's ending. It's 2012.
It's 2012.
Can't wait for the apocalypse.
We're going to have a good apocalypse episode.
December. All right. Awesome, man. Well, we're back. Comic Book Look.
We're at issue 27.
Yeah, thanks for coming back, watching us. We appreciate it. And we have a cool topic today. It's going to be a viewer request email show, except we're only going to be working on one because I think it was such a good question, and the way you put
Multiple
it that
parts,
we have totally... it's going to take us probably 20 to 30 minutes to talk about it. So.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome, Wiki. Let's read it.
Let's read it from Mike. How many... Well, basically, let's see. When is a storyline played out? Is the basis of the question. How many times can Cyclops go at it with Wolverine over Jean? Law. Touched upon that last time a little bit. How often does Aunt May have to get hurt? Isn't that the truth? And then it seems like at age 25 for each character they need to reset to tell the story again. Should X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, Superman, or Batman just call it quits? Make room for a generation without the classic characters? It's a good question.
Totally a good question. And I think we'll break it down into the different parts of the question first. With this first part of the question, hey May, we're doing our show right now.
No, she's a generation.
Okay.
You want to come in? You come in.
All right.
We're talking generation.
All right.
This is a generation right here.
And I don't even remember what I said. Oh, there's a lot of different questions, so we'll talk about the first part of the question first.
Sure.
Which is, you know, can a story, how long can a story, or when is too much for a storyline?
Yeah.
You know, like, when is it going to be played out? And, I mean, honestly, when it feels like it's, you know, not fun anymore, or you're not telling a good storyline with it, I mean, that's the case.
Right.
When it's held on just for nostalgia purposes, like, definitely Jean is with Cyclops, and, you know, that's just so played out.
Exactly.
And it's smart to change it, but when they do change it, and let's say Spider-Man, a big trope was he's always worried that Mary Jane's going to think he's going to get hurt when he's out there. So he was always worrying about Mary Jane at home, and Mary Jane worrying about Spider-Man getting hurt. He should just, you know, quit being Spider-Man. Yeah. And then so they try to do something else, and they break up, you know, Mary Jane and Spider-Man, and then like the world ends for all Spider-Man fans. Right. So, you know, it's like sometimes those tropes can be played out, well, it's, you know, and then they try to fix it, and then it can just blow up in their faces as well.
Absolutely.
So I do think that storyline was played out, though, and then they tried it. It didn't work. They should have tried to do something else where, you know, Mary Jane finally got over, you know, Peter Parker being Spider-Man, and he could just let us do his thing.
Sure. I don't know, like, when I look at, you know, just series like, you know, Amazing Spider-Man, because it's like in the, 500s, 600s, whatever, and this is something, well, that Tom and I talked about, and I think I talked with Jake in the audience about it too, is that why am I paying like $3 or $4 for a story that I've already seen? You know, or we've already seen this, it's boring, give me something new. You know, so when I look at series like Uncanny X-Men is especially guilty of it, because it's the same thing over and over again. Alternate realities, crisis, somebody dies, and so forth, just constantly.
Totally, and
right.
So many times people have tried to bring in, you know, the same thing that's happened before.
Right.
Oh, they, you know, gone to outer space, so let's go to outer space.
Right.
You know,
haven't talked to little Andrew for a while.
Yeah.
In Shi'ar Land.
You know, so they play out that same storyline over and over and over, and it always happens. And you know, superheroes.
That's kind of the trend that we're seeing.
And
But how much more could they do?
Yeah.
Realistically.
I think endlessly. I mean, they can go endless with it. I mean, how long have, you know, there can be, you know, characters that go on forever, and you can always tell different stories and redo the stories that were done. And I mean, it's just like endless. I mean, if Superman can still have 2 titles and has forever, then that's the case that it is. And it's like, it's always going to, Superman's always going to have the comics.
Yeah.
You know, he's always, at least in my mind, he'll always have these coming out. Regardless, and sometimes they suck and they don't, but there's enough people that like Superman that it's still going to work out for them. And so I think they can continually do it and probably make money. It does it the best stories? No. Would I like to see growth and change? Yes. But the superhero genre that we are in is, I mean, it is known for doing this. I mean, that is the thing it does. It has characters that have been around since the 40s. They are still the same age. They still are doing the same things. They still have sidekick partners that are the same age. And, you know, obviously there has been growth and development and things, but, you know, at such a slow pace that that's just the nature of the beast, where, you know, you can play Batman as an old man, or you can play him as just starting out, or you can play him as in between, you can play him as goofy, you can play him as super dark. And, I mean, that's just the cool thing about the character. And, you know, if you're a, you know, elitist that you have to have everything be perfect, then that's, you know, gonna probably bother you, because you're going, well, that's not Batman how I know it. He didn't do this in this book, and he didn't do this in this book. This can't be right. But me, as purely always enjoying the story first, the story has to be the best. I mean, you have to have a good story. So if you want to play Batman a different way, your version of Batman, and it makes sense for the story, then yeah, go for it. I love it. And I appreciate you trying to restart over things and tell different stories with the same character, because I like that character. And I think that's a kind of a thing where sometimes people can be complaining about having the same stories told and stuff like that. But I think if the writers really do try and put some thought into it, you know, they can do something new and original, even with an old character.
Yeah, I mean, with, like, readers, you know, you got your loyalists on anything, you know, Batman, Alpha Flight, whatever, boom, I'm going to buy it. It's going to suck. I know that it's going to suck, whatever. Then you got, like, you know, like you, more industry savvy, where you know your writers and artists, and you're like, oh, that's interesting, so-and-so's taking over X-Force. I'm going to check this issue out. So I think that it's really just different strokes for different folks. I think that being a loyalist, you drop a lot of needless money, my opinion. From personal experience, I mean, I'm totally guilty of it, you know, and I'm kind of starting to change my tune. Shut up, Jake.
But also, I think we need that reader out there too, who like is the completist for the Alpha Flight completist. Like, you want to have everything Alpha Flight. And that's
Or Thunderbolts, exactly.
You know, unless you're like, I have to have everything Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Wolverine. No. You know, like if you were that guy.
Because you're talking space, and you're talking money, and it's, I mean, if you got the means to do that, and you really appreciate it, we totally support that. You know, but for
buy 20 copies of every comic, please. Let's start selling more comics, even if there's people who don't read it or anything.
Exactly. But no, I don't know. Yes, I really do think that the value of the storyline just depends. It's really in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Totally.
Like, it's.
And it is. You're totally right that it breaks down into the different kinds of you know, readers who, you know. Are you going to just like Batman and like all the different versions? Are you going to be complaining about him being, you know, I like Dark Knight Batman, well, I like, you know, goofy Batman with Robin and blue suit. And
Christmas Carol Batman.
Yeah, and so that's always different, but, I mean, I think how much is too much is when, the answer to this question is as soon as the story starts to suck. As soon as the story's not as good as it was.
If it's issue 2, it's issue 2. Yeah,
exactly. Totally. And so that's what I mean. That is the answer to the first part of the question. Let's go. What was the next part of the question?
The next part of the question was actually just kind of touching on when you know, those particular lines, X-Men, Avengers, Batman, Superman, when they reach a certain age, it's like the company feels like it's time to retell the story
Yeah.
all over again. There's no room for senior citizen heroes.
And
What the hell is that?
You know, I think
Ageism.
Ageism, exactly.
This is not an equal
Are you saying a
opportunity
90-year-old
industry.
can't shoot a bow
Alpha
and arrow
Flight
as well
had
as
a 60-whatever-year-old or whatever. He was a really old guy that his powers came out randomly. Like, he could fly, and
Nice.
it was weird, yeah.
And then you
See,
like
it was
Jello
weird.
at the nursing
It
home.
was weird, straight from my mouth, because we're not used to that stereotype, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know how. There's got to be a way out there to make a superhero comic like that awesome, like really shine, you know. So I'm kind of curious. Maybe someone will. Maybe Sam Humphries will take on that.
Yeah,
one,
exactly.
You know?
Hello, China. I've seen
Shout
you.
out to China the Poodle.
Age has treated you well. But I think a great point that I love that point that it doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened.
Yeah.
In Starman, one that I've talked about forever, James Robinson, Tony Harris, were the main two. I mean, it is about the history of like Golden Age comics. So it's all about like the original JSA, like old Mockingbird, old Starman, old Wildcat, all the characters of the DC universe, and like how they've progressed through time. And like Starman's dad was Starman in the Golden Age, and he's old. He's just old, and he puts on the suit and tries to don the suit a few times still, in his, higher age. And it's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah.
And it makes the book so unique because it does do that. And it ties in so deep into the history of the comics where, you can't do that every time, though. Because,
No.
I mean...
There's only so much that you can do if you're not mobile and out there kicking ass.
And,
But I think it'd be cool for people to see what happens.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, wouldn't that be
After a
cool to
certain
see that kind
age.
of the other
Right.
part of it? And then also, like, it can't happen.
Right.
Because the 10-year-old who becomes 10 and finds out who is Batman,
Yeah.
he goes, oh my god, Batman is so cool! I have to read Batman. I want to go to get a Batman comic book. Well, if Batman is 89 years old and he's like talking to
Nurse.
Damien and Dick are there and Tim and like all this background and stuff, it's like that guy goes, oh,
What's going
I
on?
thought Batman was like fighting crime and shooting grappling hooks, and that's what they want to see, man.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's almost like for those top tier characters, I'm saying Batman a lot, but you could
Superman.
substitute Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Fantastic Four,
Wolverine,
any of them,
yeah.
all the way in. And that's just what happens. It just, the industry has to have that.
Keep it marketable.
You have to try to get new readers if we're going to be able to do this. And you have to try to hit that younger generation. Even if it is with like Marvel Adventure books or, Tiny Titans, whatever. They want to get into there and find out, they kind of get a touch into these characters. They want to dig deeper. They can't do just, they need to have something to dig deeper for. And Batman and Robin can't be 80 and respectively 75.
Right,
So,
Yeah.
so that, that's why they can't do that. But would it be cool
If it was done awesomely.
Yeah, every year they aged another year.
Yeah.
So like every 12 issues, I mean,
Happy
it's like it
birthday,
happens a
yeah.
month.
Give 'em-
I mean, like that would be really cool, Cyclops would be a lot older, and
Maybe a little bit more grown up.
yeah, snap. Oh,
Oh man.
totally though, and
This is terrible.
there would probably hopefully
I'm planning on a comic book character.
this is the comic book show. That's what we do.
Jake, is that what we do?
That's what you do. But wouldn't it be cooler if New Mutants came up and Professor Xavier got older and died, and
Be cool
Scott
if he
came
died,
in, and whatever. He's died like twice,
I know.
and and then they just kind of all start going to those ranks, and then you always have like the new set. So like the younger generation will be like, oh, I like this set,
Yeah.
and it kind of started that way. It had the original, and then the New Mutants came, and then X-Force came, and those were kind of like you can go into
Pick your team.
your teams and pick who you characters.
Work with whoever you want.
And they all go in between
They do,
teams,
yeah.
but it is fun to watch that.
Yeah.
Where in turn, I mean, when Kitty Pryde was like entered in the Dark Phoenix saga, it's like when they find Kitty Pryde, and she's like 13 years old, and so that was like 82 or 83.
Yeah.
And so what's that, been 30 years now? And now she's like 22, 21. You know, so she's aged about 8 years for the 30 years. And, you know, that's about how slowed down it seems to be. And then when you go GC New 52, let's cut it all. Everybody's back to being younger.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's young. Everybody is in their prime. And it makes for good comic books, but it also is like, you know, that completist, that person's been reading forever is like, I've already seen this story. And that is another just great reason why you should read indies.
Exactly.
Because you don't have to deal with all this continuity bullshit. But, you know, we're comic book fans. You usually start reading comic books because you like superheroes.
Exactly.
So that's what we're talking about today. Is obviously just superheroes. The next, I think, the part of the question.
We already kind of transitioned into it. Was the generation part? Just make room for a new generation without the classics.
Oh yeah.
Risky move, just because, like Tom said earlier, those are the foundations, but at the same time, so it's a tough one. They are introducing characters slowly, though. At least in the Marvel Universe, Avengers Academy, Wolverine and the X-Men,
totally.
X-Men period. Like, there's kids on Utopia and then at the school. So
the
Marvel
Hopes, mutants.
If you want something to really just shape up the Marvel knowledge, get the calendar, because they map out every X title and who's who. It's hilarious.
Awesome.
Like, they have little stick
I
figures
tried. The calendar's gone. They
What?
don't have any more copies. Even when I
sucks.
went like 1 week after you.
Yeah.
Didn't get it this year. Oh well. But anyway, yeah, it's a great idea. But as that last part of, you know, should we say goodbye to these heroes that have been here, like completely?
Right.
You know, how do you feel about that? Of, you know, saying, well, Wolverine's been around for this long. He's now retired. You know, he's out of the picture. You never see him again. You never see Cyclops. You never see Puck. You never see North Star or whatever. And, you know.
Well, speaking of that.
I mean, you know, like,
we'll
how
be
would
seeing them anyways. It's a new.
Or
the
they
final
can just get
issue's
canceled.
coming out. Oh.
How long did it go? 8?
8
9?
issues.
8. What chumps. Dude, I mean, that's such Marvel bullcrap again. They like, it's a limited series. It's ongoing. It's canceled. Like, all within, like, a month.
They went from silver, gold to bronze. Jerks. I don't know, man.
But, yeah. Lame.
I want to talk about that.
But, you know, like, how would you feel to never have the characters?
To never have Cyclops again?
Yeah.
When
Be
can we
awesome.
start?
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I don't know.
I just don't think you can do that.
Well, with Wolverine, you sure could. He's leaving behind a way cooler legacy. Sweet tattoo.
Talking an X-23. What horrible ripoff.
Yes.
I mean, and that's like also the thing, you know.
Yeah.
They don't always succeed when you bring on the next generation, like Doc and X-23. I mean, those, I want to like them, but God, they are not that good. You know, they're not that cool of characters.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so generally ripped off of Wolverine. And you can do it cool, though, because look at, like, Franklin and Valeria from, you know, Fantastic Four. You're like the new generation, like Hickman's brought in this Future Foundation, and that's been cool. But I mean, Sue Storm, she was, you know, 22 probably when she started in 1960, and now she's probably like 33, 35 maybe. Maybe she's 40. I mean, you know, Reed's older. I hope she's 40.
She probably hides all that.
She's just hot still as hell. So I mean, they draw her like she's 25.
Yeah.
But you know, it's never going to be that perfect world for superheroes where we're going to have a straight continuity of this is what happens this year, this is what happens this year, this is what happens this year, this happened in this order. You know, it just can't happen.
Yeah.
And so, how can you do that? Can you get rid of all the characters? No, you just can't. You simply can't.
If you're gonna represent them, do it right, and don't do it identically.
So let's
first time around, because otherwise you're just paying for the same crap all over. You know what I mean?
What do you think? There's been any times where
that has happened?
A character has, you know, you have a character being one way for a really long time, and then somebody revamps them and makes them like a different character that's better.
That's better?
Yeah, that makes it not worse. You know, like, I don't know, in the 90s there was like, Rob Liefeld did like Heroes Reborn and tried to like make them better, and it ended up being way worse. You know, like way worse. Like Captain America looks so horrible. Oh my God, we'll throw up a picture of him because he's just so ugly. It's ridiculous. And you know, like that didn't work. But I think where you're talking about Dark Knight Returns for Batman, Batman's, you know, campy, not very serious. All of a sudden, Dark Knight Returns.
Yep.
That was like a redoing of the character, made it way better at that time. And I think another one would be like that has like been revamped into like a cooler character. I mean, is Wolverine. I mean, Wolverine when he started, he was like, I mean, read this Hulk issue. I've read it. I mean, it's like he was just one background guy that the Hulk had to fight because they needed a new guy for the Hulk to fight. And he just so happened that like later they called him a mutant, and later he had all these different things.
Yeah.
At first he was supposed to be like Wolverine Man, you know, like they don't talk about him being a mutant or anything like that. And so that's like a revamping right away that happened. That was cool. But I don't know. You know, it can be done, and you can revamp it. But then, you know, sometimes when you try it, also, you lose. You can definitely lose out and make something shittier. Like, what's a big costume change? Like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Hawkeye, purple. You know, like ugly as can be. With this new Avengers thing, now he's like not wearing the ridiculous mask. I'm trying to have like more black than purple.
Mantiera.
Yeah, I'm trying to have like maybe like more black than purple. Maybe just little purple.
Purple,
you know, like
accents on my arm.
did that revamp work? You know, I don't read any of the Avengers now,
Yeah,
so.
and he's always wearing shades too.
Yeah, he's like, they try to make him really cool now. He's like, I'm Hawkeye, I'm cool, you know?
Yeah.
I used to wear this crazy thing on my head, it used to be purple, had an H on it, and now I wear these shades. It's maybe a revamp that was necessary because it was so bad.
Oh my God.
How about Aqualad? I think, Aqualad being so ridiculous. First of all, his name's Aqualad. That's like, you just got punished so bad by getting that being your superhero name. And then I think when you watch Young Justice, that Aqualad is like so badass. Like you can't call him Aqualad. I feel like that. I feel like I should just call him like nothing else. The Man. And he has like the coolest powers. He's super awesome. I've talked about it before, but that was like a revamping of making a character really a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Can you think of any?
You know, honestly, the only thing that comes to mind right now is, you know, what we're going to be talking about in future episodes is just the New 52.
Yeah.
You know, with how they did all those, because nothing notable really from Marvel, to be honest with you. Lately, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't think.
yeah.
What's a time that that DC has tried to like get rid of one of those top tier characters, or they kind of go away? Oh, how about actually one change that didn't work in the 90s, late 90s or early 2000s? Superman was like blue electric.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He became like an energy power.
Aw.
Like this is during Grant Morrison's like run on JLA when it's just awesome, and he doesn't get real Superman. He gets blue electric Superman, and it was like I remember reading it and being like, what is this, dude?
That's ridiculous.
It didn't work. You know, they turned him back to regular Superman, but. You know, that was another time that didn't work.
I bet fans are like,
no, I don't. This isn't working. That was like after the second time he died, and but when's the time that they kind of put somebody into the back burner? The only time I can think of is Starman. I mean, they completed him. He's off, and we don't hear from him again.
Yeah.
I don't know any other major characters that would ever happen to.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess one thing I don't even know what's going on with is Ghost Rider. I'm not touching that at all, and like Gabe's a huge fan. He's not happy with it at all.
Well, they canceled it. They tried to make a girl Ghost Rider. They canceled it. I'm sure eventually they'll get a new one on. Hopefully. So I guess at least they did.
The character's so cool though. That's what
exactly.
Me
that is what is so. That's what caught with Ghost Rider. Not like incredible stories or anything. Just like he is cool. Yeah. Like Ghost Rider's cool. He's riding a motorcycle, whipping chains.
Fire everywhere.
Fire head.
Yeah.
He has a skull fire head.
Pisses fire. per the movie previews.
Well, until I saw that part of the previews, I had hopes. Yeah. Even though we're going to the midnight showing of that, I hope you are prepared, buddy. Because you work on 5 a.m. on Friday morning.
Yeah.
You might want to take that Friday off or
When
something.
is it?
Or something.
February
I don't
something?
know.
It's coming up.
Coming up, so we got to do it though.
Yeah, I'll get it off.
So look forward. We're doing some comic book movies coming up here.
We should sneak a video camera and like have us sitting there.
Yeah, we'll get arrested and charge $500,000 for
Be
pirating,
worth it.
thinking we're
These guys are
pirating.
worth it. Our viewers are totally worth it.
Don't you guys are worth it. Spider-Man's coming up too, though.
Yeah.
And what's another one? Batman will be. They have you can buy Batman tickets
It
now,
will be a good year.
and
Yeah.
that doesn't come out until December though, like a year from now.
Yeah.
And you can buy your tickets now.
I hope it's on the Thursday. End of the world.
Yeah, I hope it comes out before the end of the world.
Oh.
And I think should be some other good. Oh, Avengers, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming out this
Is
year.
that May or June?
Yeah, I think May,
Yeah.
April even.
I'm okay with that.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good year
Yeah.
for movies. Off topic, but that is actually not even really off topic. It's a new way to restart these characters in the
And
movies
it's working.
for a way larger
People
audience.
interested.
Yeah. Even though, just how awesome would it be if Marvel Entertainment had the rights to all their characters, and X-Men wasn't being put out by Fox, and Fantastic Four wasn't being put out by Fox, and Ghost Rider wasn't being put out by Fox, and we had those be Marvel Universe where they could be entered into the Marvel, realm of movies of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor,
Exactly.
Hulk. I mean, that would be cool.
Be radical.
Yeah. So
I'd be okay with that.
in the future, hopefully they win those back, because I would love to see like a real Kirby-esque Fantastic Four movie or something along those lines. So hopefully we get one. But anyway, anything else that you want to touch upon, my friend?
That was it. That's all she wrote.
Another good
Or he
episode.
wrote. Mike wrote.
That's all Mike wrote. Look at that. One topic that somebody gave us the whole show. So thank you. We've
Keep
gotten
'em
some
coming.
other ones. Yep, keep them coming. Hit us up at the email, acomicbooklook@gmail.com. Please send us some questions and concerns, what we can do better, what you don't like, what you do like, what you want to see in the future. Always stop by the Comic Book Look Facebook page. We're always hanging out, representing. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week.
Keep it comics.